Welcome to the Monday edition of the Mike O'Mara Show, everybody. We have spoken to people from all walks of life, but I have to say I am truly thrilled to have this gentleman on the program. James Patterson has sold more books than anyone in the world. He is a delight. I've been a fan for years and years, and we are blessed to have James Patterson join us on the Mike O'Mara Show. James, how are you today?
I'm good. Just
it's great to have you.
Played 18 with my wife, so
well, that's one of the questions I was going to ask you about that. Before we get into the book, James's new book is Miracle at St. Andrews, a book that I devoured because I'm an avid golfer as well. And
it's one of the few honest golf books, though, because it will not improve your golf game. So there's no lies about it. It's just, it's not going to improve your golf game, but hopefully it'll give you some laughs, and you'll go, oh, yeah, that's what golf is kind of like,
And you do seem to get into the head of what it is, too, that we all struggle with out there, and it's Travis McKinley is the character, and I did love it. Before we get to the book and what you've done for literacy in America, I was doing a little math. If my math is correct, you and I have something significant in common. We had our sons later in life, and I could ask you about books.
My Jack is 21 now.
Okay, and I'm 59, and I have a little 5-year-old, and you were younger when you had your son, but I wanted to get some advice for a fellow older father, because I would do this if we bumped into each other on the street. Not if you were James Patterson and I bumped into you on the street, but if I just bumped into you. You understand what I'm saying?
The one thing I did do was early on, I was 50, I think, when Jack was born, and my beard was going white, and so I shaved it to sort of cut down on the number of people who would ask me if that was my grandson.
You didn't color it. You didn't want to go
helped.
Get just for men.
It didn't eliminate it, but it helped it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And
that's a bad one. You really don't want people coming up and saying, "Oh, is that your grandson?"
Yeah, it's happened.
It hurts.
Well, it happened.
Yeah.
I as early as last week, someone did that to me.
Okay.
It happens. Right. I'm also bigger than you are too, so I have that kind of whole Santa thing, and I do have my white beard here. I always say if I lose 60
you might
pounds,
want to eliminate the white beard. I don't know.
Well, by the way, James, say hi to Robb Spiewak and Oscar Santana. They're here with us, my co-hosts on the Mike O'Mara Show.
They just laugh at anything that's stupid that we say. That's excellent.
No, that's not
Mike
true.
has been fighting this, is that your grandfather, is that your father bit for some time, and we've been telling him about the white beard, James, for some time.
And Mr. Patterson, he's also big at projecting. He invited me to color my beard this week, which I did. So this has actually been a hot topic on the show.
Okay. All right.
Timely.
This is not what I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm sorry.
Well, we're getting the important stuff. Look, I said the golf book can't help your golf game, but the coloring the beard might help your life.
I'll skip ahead because I was going to ask you about that because
you want to get out of this area, right?
No, I'm fine. I could talk to you about being an older father all day. Let me ask you one other question about that. I find I cherish it. I have 2 kids from a previous marriage that 23 and 21, but having this little 5-year-old running around my house.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Wow.
See, this is why he sold all the books. It's intuitive.
Awesome.
He knows about the. Please don't talk about alimony. I mean,
all right.
I was told years ago that James, I've suffered through the equivalent of 2 stock market crashes. Okay, it's not fun, but
all right, yeah.
All right, getting
sorry to
So that's okay.
Tender spots.
I've got,
What's going to be the next tender spot? Your golf game?
Wow. No,
you playing against your brother?
James, since you brought it up, I will tell you that over the weekend in the blue net division at the Estero Country Club, I came in first.
Oh,
and,
good going. All right.
And I am now playing to a 10 handicap, so I'm very, very excited about it.
Okay, that's good.
And that's why I loved this book, A Miracle at St. Andrews. As an avid golfer, I just, with the amount of work that's on your plate, do you find the time? You just answer the question. You do find time to get out there.
It gets me out of. I'll get up early, 5:36, and I'll usually write for a little bit, and then I'll go out. Most days walk 9 or occasionally walk 18, and then come back and work again, or waste my time like on this phone call. No, but I get a kick out of it, and it's good exercise. And every once in a while, you hit a good shot. I'll give you my one. This is my good hole-in-one story. My wife is very competitive. She was an all-American swimmer, blah 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 blah. And a few years ago, she had lifetime 4 holes in one. I had 3, and I had another one. And she said, "Well, I don't like it, but I can live with it." And then 2 days later, we were out together. I had another hole in one. And the ball, we watched the ball go in the cup. Does she give me a big hug? No. Does she say, "Nice shot, honey"? No. She looks at me and she says, "You've got to be shitting me," which is a totally appropriate response.
There has to be a little bit of a jealousy factor.
I mean, it's like crazy. Anybody listening knows that's insane. I am a fiction writer, but that actually happened.
That when you talk about being a fiction writer, have you played St. Andrews? Have you ever had the opportunity to play it? You've never.
No.
Yeah, okay.
I think Peter might have. I wrote it. Peter DeYoung. He's another sort of tortured golfer, and we work together. And sometimes I think he might. I think he did.
One of the things you do, and you've talked about it, is just understanding what your readers want. So when you produce this content, it's going to be. You hit the nail on the head with Miracle at St. Andrews, because as an avid golfer, I think kind of your target audience, you want to get the golfers involved. It's just you get inside with the collaboration with Peter. You get inside the head of the golfer, and you kind of deal with that. And that's what I tore through the book, because I want to get to that moment. I want to get to that last part of the book. And you have an uncanny ability to do that.
It's joyful through the book, and yet Travis keeps sort of, like stepping into gopher holes, which is kind of like real golf. You're out there, you love it, it's joyful, but that sooner or later you're going to hit the ball in the water or something,
Yeah,
that's what happens to
gets
poor
in your
Travis.
Head. Travis McKinley is the character in Miracle at St. Andrews. It's really a fantastic book. You have done so much, including, I think, in the last 24 hours, there was a story about you donating to schools, books, support for teachers, and literacy being your main focus now.
Yeah,
how much of that is a part of your life now than just selling books?
It is. I don't know what the percentage is, but I mean, it's definitely very important. I have actually a kids imprint. I do a lot of kids' books, which some people aren't aware of. And in fact, the Einstein estate came to me about a year ago, and they said, "We'd like you to do some books for little kids that'll get kids interested in Einstein and his theories." And they said, "But you have to make it entertaining." And I said, "Oh, so all you want me to do is to write about Albert Einstein and his scientific theories and make it entertaining for little children?" Okay, no problem.
Right.
But it is very satisfying to me. The thing we did are doing this week has to do with helping pay for teachers' classroom libraries. And last year we got, I think, 82,000 requests for help. And I think we helped about 14,000. Because a lot of times teachers are paying for the classroom libraries themselves. So and that shouldn't happen. So we try to help out where we can.
Well, you're doing a great job with that, and you also work collaboratively with so many other authors. What do you look for in a collaborator?
Obedience. No, I really. At the end of the day, it is a James Patterson book, so it does have pacing is really important, that it moves along. I will write an outline for everything we do, and pretty long outline. And then I want the co-writer to contribute to the outline for 2 reasons. One, I want the contributions, and 2, I want them emotionally invested. And then we just go back and forth. And unlike the publisher who says go ahead, and a year from now the book comes, I'll want to see stuff every 2 or 3 weeks, and then we talk about it like it's either like, yay, this is great, or hold it, something's wrong here.
It's
amazing. It goes like that. I do a lot of books now, and I couldn't do all of them myself, but mostly it's almost all of them are ideas that I had, and with an outline that's significant. It was 2 years ago. I think I did 2,500 pages of outlines, which, if you think about it, is totally insane.
That's like the story. That's the whole book. It would seem to me when you're doing that. But the collaborators.
It wasn't 2,500 on one book.
Yes, exactly.
No,
It was just How many projects right now? How many projects right now? Ready to be? I won't ask all that you're working on, but ready to be.
No,
released.
It's too many. Honestly, in my office now, there's shelves around, and there's about 20 different things, including some Hollywood stuff. I did a novel with President Clinton, and Showtime is so we're doing we're dealing with scripts from Showtime, and there's a TV series on CBS, Instinct, scripts on that, and then a nonfiction thing with Netflix. So there's a lot of stuff.
Was Bill Clinton obedient when you worked with him?
He was great. No, I wouldn't say he was obedient, but he was humble and a pleasure to work with. Respectful.
How did that come about? How did that collaboration come about?
We have the same lawyer agent, and the president is President Clinton is really a big mystery reader, and the agent was always trying to nudge him to write a mystery himself, and finally he said, well, would you want to write one with Jim? And he said, well, I don't know why Jim would want to write with me, but sure. So it was really great. So now I also have played golf with President Bush Sr., Trump, and Bill Clinton. So that was kind of cool. President Clinton and I, we've played 4 or 5 times now.
And you've got a neighbor up there. Trump's your neighbor too. Over there in Palm Beach.
Here, but not today.
Speaking of Palm Beach, I saw a TV piece where they visited your office, and I was blown away by the sheer organization of all the projects. Are you?
Yeah.
Well, I know you obviously would have people that help you, but are you that organized, or do you have a team? How does that? Because I was fascinated by that.
It's pretty much comes out of this office. There's nobody here. I have one assistant, and that's kind of it.
Amazing.
And anybody I work with, it's phone calls. Hey, how are you? What's going on? I just read the pages, or whatever the heck it is. And then some of the books I'm still writing myself. So.
And you wouldn't be able to do it, I would think, if you didn't have that. I mean, you wouldn't be able to keep all those balls in the air if you didn't have that organization.
The thing of it is, I don't work for a living. I play for a living. I love doing it. I love telling stories. I always, you always hope everyone's going to turn out great, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I love it. It's just it is a joyful thing, and as you get a little older. I'm never bored, because if things slow down, I'll just go up to the office and write some more. Yeah.
This is fantastic. We're talking to James Patterson. His new book is Miracle at St. Andrews. If you are a golfer or a golf fan, and it's a great story for anybody. You're going to love this. Are you a good storyteller when you go out to dinner with friends, at a dinner party? Are you kind of a raconteur at all?
I have a lot of stories. So that's a piece of it. I do. I mean, I think it's a mixed bag in terms of the dinner tables. In terms of having me as a speaker, yeah, because I tell nothing but stories. I mean, early on. I was invited in to do a speech, and the person that I followed was hilarious, and I stunk. And I said, okay, I've learned a lesson here, and now I tell nothing but stories when I speak. And actually, when I was with President Clinton, he said, the human being now, they've not that it's an exact measurement, but like the attention span is 8 seconds, and a butterfly's attention span is 9 seconds. So when you're speaking to an audience, you kind of need to be aware of that.
Right.
And stories, they kind of stick with you. But if you're just going to, blah, 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 they're gone. They're kind of, listening a little bit.
Do you?
Speeches, it's a lot of stories.
Do you involve yourself, obviously, with the projects that you have? Along Came Spider comes to mind, turned into Hollywood movies, turned into television series.
Yeah, you try.
How do you feel about that?
It's hard. I'll never complain about it, because you don't have to sell them. You always have that. Clive Cussler got stung once, and he just stopped selling stuff out there. So I kind of go with the process now. We have more input on The President is Missing at Showtime than I did early in my career. We have good people involved in it, which is really nice. Instinct, they're kind of respectful. In the beginning, I mean, it's a strange environment out there. If I ever wrote a Hollywood novel, I wouldn't. But if I did, the first line is, "Hello, I lied." It's just a strange environment, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of the great American novel, I always wonder, and I don't know if you've probably been asked this. You've been asked everything. You've done so many interviews, but I have to ask this question: Do you, with the idea that you read a James Patterson novel for entertainment, and people will throw darts at you regarding great literature and that type of discussion, do you harbor any desire to put everything aside?
If their barb has great literature in it, then I take that as a compliment.
Okay.
Even if they're saying I don't write it. If it has those words in it, I will take, No, a little bit. It really depends on, there was once in the New York Times, this guy was banging at me, and he said, I haven't actually read any of his books. I'm going like, well, dude, I mean, you got to at least read a couple of books before you start sounding off, So it really depends on whether it's fair or not. If it's fair, you go, and then different tastes. That's okay. But pretty much, for the most part, I'm like, it's fine. I mean, one of the things when you go around with, like President Clinton or Hillary or Bush or whatever, you see the cruelty of some of the stuff they have to deal with.
Oh God!
So the stuff that comes at me is pretty minor. Stuff that comes at them, I mean, it's just it's devastating stuff about your family. It's unbelievable the crap that goes on now.
Yeah, and especially in the social media era, it's even worse. Oscar, I know you wanted to ask.
Even on television, far left, far right, whatever. I mean, it's
the
pundits.
What? It's tough. It's tough.
Oscar, I know
Mr.
you wanted
Patterson,
to ask the question.
I asked this question with all due respect. What's it like to be wealthy?
Well, look, I've been poor, I've been middle class, and then I was poor and middle class again, and now I'm rich. On balance, I prefer being rich.
There you go. Good answer. Very direct answer. Hey,
but you know the thing of it is I wouldn't be the same person and I wouldn't be the same writer if I hadn't gone through the other stuff. So I find it really useful. I think I'm pretty compassionate. I think I understand. I do understand what it's like not to have money. I grew up my father grew up in the Newburgh, New York poorhouse. His mother, this is true stuff. His mother's a charwoman, which meant, she cleaned the kitchens and the bathroom, and they got one room. So that's, kind of the family background. It's very, and once again, and that's why I should be elected president of the United States. No, it's not, but it's useful, I think, to have gone through and to understand where people are coming from a little bit, and, so.
I'm going to ask you now. I don't know if you're familiar with Jiminy Glick, but as I'm looking at this question that I have for you, it feels like a Jiminy Glick question. You know how to scare people, but what scares you, James Patterson? I'm sure you've gotten it before, so I have to ask it in a funny way.
Teeing off in front of anybody.
There you go.
That I don't know.
Yep, that's it. I can call back to the book, Miracle at St. Andrews, right here.
Yeah, the first tee is always frightening.
You can answer that.
I think we're all, there's a little mortality thing. I had a little lung thing this summer. That was a little scary. I'm fine, but so yeah, that stuff is a little frightening.
And one of the things about a James Patterson novel, and your characters are so engaging. But what I've always found, you write characters that get me excited in a female-male type of way, female to female. Who is the James Patterson character? I don't know whether you'll be able to answer this or not. Who turned you on the most from a purely sexual standpoint? Who is the hottest character you ever? And you must have one character. Is it this lady?
That's a question I haven't had before.
Thank you.
And what comes to mind is the first Alex Cross novel, and I don't even remember her name. I think her name was Jessie. But Alex had this affair with this woman. I think it was in Along Came a Spider. And I found her to be really hot.
You do it so well.
That's the only one I remember. Yeah, I'm sure there were others, but yeah.
You know how to do that. That's And by the way, in our audience, a bunch of people just said, "What's the website?" Even though you're known by millions right now, and there's a tiny bit of that, and not a lot in Miracle at St. Andrews, but I like Travis's wife, and he loves her, and he demonstrates that love.
Yeah, I'm big on family and stuff, and I think I've been very lucky things have worked out for me.
Well, we appreciate your time, and we only have you for a minute or so. And before we let you go, I had to do this. Listen, I'd like to offer you an invite. I'm a Floridian. You're a Floridian.
Oh, no.
I've got my member guests
like,
coming.
O'Reilly to Trump.
No, nothing like that at all. Let me hear me out, James.
Go ahead.
Hear me.
Even better.
This is even better. You're over in Palm Beach. I'm over here on the other side. I'm in Fort Myers across the state. I'd like to invite you to play in my member guest tournament. Here's what I'll do. This is the deal I will offer you. Now, we're in different zip codes in more ways.
Play in the Everglades.
Play in the Glades. play in the Glades. We could do that. I would, if you wanted to come over here next March, early March, I would send an Uber for you. I would be willing to put you up at the Days Inn, which is
send an Uber. I will just get one over here.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't need to. Well, I wanted to make it sound better than it was. Put you up at the Days Inn, which is right in front of the Tiki Bar.
Days Inn, excellent. Okay.
And dinner on $2 margarita night is on me at Iguana Mia. That's the offer I have.
Wow, that's the best offer I've had in the last. How long has this interview been?
James Patterson, the book is Miracle.
This is great. A lot of fun.
At St. Andrews. Thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck with the book, even though you don't need it. Bye-bye. That's James Patterson, everybody. Yes, sir.
Yes, he was cool.
Even though they don't come out and say no, that's 0 for 2 because Nance, I know, said no, and James Patterson said no to that. So that's that.
Would the entire Everglades be one trap? I mean, it's all...
I bet
it's a hazard,
if you really looked at
it, hazard, yeah.
You find a golf course. I mean, he's so rich. That's it. Rob, we can officially. That's James Patterson,
Yay,
the
James
biggest
Patterson.
selling author of all time, and we can start the show right now.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. You can listen to the Mike O'Mara Show at www.mikeomarashow.com.
Stay tuned for an outstanding entertainment program.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show.
Let's get down to business.
From the entertainment capital of the world.
Hey, you just tell me what's wrong with that boy.
Dirt.
Dirt?
Dirt in the fuel line. Just blowed it away. Excuse me, ma'am. Is there anything else I could do for you today?
You're a smart feller. You sure do know a lot about automobiles, don't you?
I guess I do.
Would you know what kind of car this is?
This is a 4-cylinder Ford coupe?
No. This is a stolen 4-cylinder Ford coupe.
Hey, you ain't scared, are you?
I believe he is.
Well, that's a pity now. We sure could have used a smart boy like that who knows such a great deal about automobiles. Hey, you a good driver, boy?
Yeah, reckon I am.
No, he's better off here.
What's your name, boy?
C.W. Moss.
Well, I'm Miss Bonnie Parker, and this here's Mr. Clyde Barrow. We rob banks.
Hey, now, there ain't nothing wrong with that, is there?
Oh.
You think you got the guts for our line of work?
What are you talking about? I spent a year in reformatory.
A man with a record.
Well, I know you got the nerve to shortchange old ladies who are coming in for gas. What I'm asking you is, have you got what it takes to pull bank jobs with us?
Mr. C.W. Moss.
Sure do. I ain't afraid. That's what you think.
Prove it.
It's the Mike O'Mara Show. Mike O'Mara, Robb Spiewak, Oscar Santana. And now, from his easy chair, here's Mike.
Hi, streamers. I'm back. Live from the Podcast Village studios
Hello.
in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. That was a great interview with James Patterson. That
Yes,
was a
it
lot of
was.
fun.
Top drawer.
Yes.
Stellar.
What was your
The Mike
favorite
O'Mara
part?
Show. What?
What was your favorite part?
Just the whole thing.
Yeah, me too.
The Mike O'Mara Show is on from Perth, Australia, to Maricopa County, Arizona, from Pine City, Minnesota, to Cedar Key, Florida. I know who I am. Sometimes it's hard. From Felton, Delaware, to Cochranton, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Really sorry I had to put everybody through that. This segment of the program is brought to you by the TMOS Shopping Center.
Yes.
I'm getting help for it, though.
Good.
How do you treat a thirsty dad? With a nice, strong cocktail. Yum, right?
Yeah.
Fun. A martini, Rob Roy, perhaps a sidecar, even a rusty nail, maybe even a Harvey Wallbanger. That is if you have some Galliano, my friend.
You need that, my friend.
Yes, drinking is fun, but if you want to have a cocktail, you need accoutrements, an ice bucket, shakers, a long cocktail spoon, a strainer, ice machine, rocks glasses. All important. And all available at the TMOS Shopping Center. This is internet shopping at its finest, which just happens to be the topic of this announcement. Isn't that right, Sam Elliott? Right. The TMOS Shopping Center is on our website, and it gives you unfettered access to Walmart, Target, and Macy's. Not only do you get all the stuff you love, but you're supporting the Mike O'Mara Show. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to us. So buy your booze at the Alphabet store, but buy everything else at the TMOS Shopping Center. A lot of people will say, hey, did you hear the beginning of the show where Mike had another one of his meltdowns? I did. I had a total meltdown, but I've recovered after... I talked to my psychiatrist, Dr. Santana, and then
Dr. Z?
Dr. Z. But sometimes it's just really hard when you're dealing with things like that. So for those people who will not hear the stream, who did not hear the stream, and won't see what we post, you know, please, I know you're going to want to talk about it, but you know, just understand, I'm a man, flesh and bone.
Just one man.
Doing the very best he can, and unfortunately,
as you
every
said
now
at
and
the
then,
front of the show, Mike, you know who you are.
I know who I am, and
Right.
it's not pretty all the time.
No.
And,
But sometimes
and
it's
Oscar, there are even
gorgeous.
things that you don't know that have been happening that are just, I'm dealing with it, and
We all
it's
derail.
fun.
We all
we all
derail
have
once
that
in a while.
moments. We all have
We all do.
moments. It's just, and you know what? That was a great getting James Patterson on the show. I was thrilled to interview him, and
Funny guy.
And he writes a mean book, and you know, I think that will be the MO for every A-list guest that we get from this point forward. I will invite them to play golf.
Okay.
And they will chuckle, because the concept of a man of that stature golfing with me, certainly golfing for a number of days in a tournament, is so absurd.
yeah.
Well,
that
my
it's
favorite
laughable
part-
to them. That's why I use it for my own comedy vehicle.
And it was quite subtle, is when you said that where he'd be staying was near the Tiki Bar. And
Yes.
very much under his breath, James Patterson, the greatest selling author of all time, says, okay.
Yeah, I can't believe he does that organization by himself. And
I
saw,
know.
I don't know how many years ago they did the piece on CBS Sunday Morning, but just the organizational skills. Now, granted, he's got the $1 million cabinets, right? You know, he's got these beautiful built-in files that he has, but he uses every one of them.
That's the secret. His furniture.
The furniture.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey,
Huh.
great furniture.
Isn't this great?
Great furniture could change your
You
world.
look at what I have here. You know, everything's up there. Everything's straight up in the air. I don't have
Right.
any. I'm not like James Patterson, where I can look down and see, you know, Alex Cross and the mystery of the, you know, shaved penis.
Didn't you expect
know?
him to open one of those drawers and have a body and a bag in there? I mean, it
it's
looked
just-
like a morgue.
It's just amazing, though. I mean, it just he is a factor. Everybody's read his books, and it was I was nervous and excited to be able to talk to him, but not as nervous and excited as you were when I spoke to you over the weekend, getting ready to make your pilgrimage.
See, here's what people need to know is Mike and I have been friends for a long time, and we talk every day. Mm-hmm. But it has to be something really quite notable for me to darken your phone and actually phone you.
Yes.
And as I was leaving the suburbs of D.C. to head into the city to go to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, I was so keyed up, I needed someone to talk to. That's where my headspace was.
Yeah.
It was like maybe 4:30, 4:45, and Mike answers like, hello? And I said, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a little keyed up right now.
Well, here's the thing, and of all the things that came out of last night, and I'll let you take over from here because it's your evening with the boys, but Matthew, are you there?
I am right here.
Yeah, I know I was yelling at you before the show started,
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm sorry
No one heard
about
that,
that.
Mike. No one heard
but
that.
let me just tell you this: for purposes of full disclosure, you can also, you are capable of bringing me joy, and that was the photograph, which is I'm going to print it, I'm going to frame it, I'm going to put it somewhere in a place of honor. Which, Oscar, I don't know if you received this photograph.
Did you send it to Oscar?
I do have it, yes.
From the Wax Museum,
Yes.
which is unquestionably the funniest picture I think I've seen in a decade, which is it okay to describe it?
Absolutely.
Or will they
We're
get
going
mad
to,
at us?
No, we're actually going to put all of these photos on our website or access to them. And Maddie, we shot a fair amount of video, and we will have a video up in the next day or so of me in my gray silk pajamas, which, by the way, stunning.
Okay, hold on. Let me just describe this.
Okay.
So, the lifelike recreation of Abraham Lincoln in the box where he was assassinated
at Ford's Theater, which is actually literally adjacent to Madame Tussauds. You can see Ford's Theater from the museum.
The quality of Abraham Lincoln's wax figure is so amazingly lifelike. I mean, it's beyond lifelike. And somehow Robb Spiewak found his way into the box at Ford's Theater, and it's Robb laughing with his hand up in the air.
As I told,
so Pony sent that to me. It was pretty damn funny.
As I told the Tussaud crew last night, I said, you know, the play that Lincoln was seeing was a comedy. So really, we should be laughing.
That was post dinner, I take it.
Oh, anything you see in the museum is post dinner. Yeah.
All right, post dinner. So last night, just for the to set this whole thing up, Robb Spiewak's greatest fear are wax dummies in a wax museum, and we called on one of our bonus shows, the Madame Tussauds, because they had a promotion running where they would allow you to spend a night at the museum, a night in the wax museum, and I thought it would be a wonderful idea for Robb to confront his fears.
As I said when I brought the story to your eyes, this is not how I saw this segment going, because I was just going to bitch and moan that who would be crazy enough to do this, and then in 15 minutes, I was the guy that was crazy enough to do it.
So when we called them, they were so over the top nice. They were so accommodating, and especially the lady at the front desk, and then the lady that Queen, and then the other Teresa who works at the museum, that the ball started rolling on this, and it ended up very quickly that you were going to spend a night, and you got to take 3 of your friends who were handpicked Navy SEALs, Rob Ford, Ponyboy Matt Bloom, and
then a last-minute addition, one that actually came in days after the fact.
Yes.
It was Johnny Candell.
Intern Johnny.
Intern Johnny, who really established himself as quite a Weisenheimer on the show last week.
Got to know him a little bit through the night, and I'll tell you this about Johnny. He is a good writer. He is a funny guy. He lacks urgency.
So
not sure he was the best one to be selected as far as actual getting stuff done. Even something as menial task like, hey, our breakfast is here. We need to eat it so we can leave. He said, couple more minutes sleep.
Oh, wow. Is Johnny here today?
He is. He is.
The bitch turn is on campus as well.
Yeah, Dahlia is here as well. Dahlia, forgive me.
Oh, my God. We have to.
A lot to get to.
We have too much
Do we
show.
have
I
no
know,
show?
too much.
Good day for me to have the right. Anyway.
So we all sort of met here at Podcast Village. Yeah. And then we knew we were going to head over and do the museum thing, but dinner
Team trip.
Dinner came with the package, which was amazing. They said all you got to do is come by.
Wait, the dinner was included?
Yes. Keep in mind that we made a lot of money by booking this. You could not, first of all, you could not book a hotel room for 4 in the District of Columbia for what we paid to sleep in the Wax Museum. And then beyond that, breakfast and dinner, and they gave us presents, and they let us do all the add-on features that you can do at the Wax Museum.
Oh, cool.
We got to do all that stuff. But I arrived there.
When I talked to you, you were eating onion rings.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I upgraded. You could get artisanal fries or onion rings. I went onion rings.
Onion rings. Okay. How were they?
Excellent. But that was after the Hard Rock Nachos. But don't let me get ahead of myself.
Oh, jeez.
So,
all right.
We pull up
and Rofo and onion rings and nachos and then like a room together?
Well, we had to fight over the sour cream. It was not pretty. But we got... We pull up to Madame Tussauds, and I think it said like 18th and F, right in the really downtown historical part of Washington, D.C. And you pull up, and they've got a big glass front, and there's Tom Cruise standing there, and Elton John standing in the window, and Whitney Houston in her I'm singing the national anthem outfit, the white jumpsuit, remember? Or like sweatsuit.
So when they do this, are like Tom Cruise and Elton John, do they get it so right that they have their proper heights?
That's one of the things I actually asked I got to meet one of the wax sculptors there. He said, yeah, any modern celebrity is not only measured by height, they use calipers to measure their noses, their ears,
cool.
everything. And there's a pretty fascinating video they did with Beyonce that shows how they got it exactly right.
See, I love that. That's cool.
They consult with her personal makeup artist and stylist. Oftentimes, the stars will donate their own clothes, and it's amazing the process they go through. So I go to the door, and it's locked. And I go to another door, and it's locked. And I go to another door, and it's open. And I open it up, and there's a very startled man there. And I say, "Is this the wax museum?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, sorry." And I walk around to the front, and it says, big sign on the wax museum, closed. And that's locked. So I text my contact, and I've been off and on in contact with her all week. Her name is Arlene. And I said, "Hi, it's Robb Spiewak. We're here. We have to pick up our card that says Wax Museum so we can get our free dinner at the Hard Rock."
Yes.
And she said, "Be right up." So she comes up, and she couldn't be nicer, and she opens the door. She says, "Come in." And so it's me and her and Elton John standing there. And I mean, right down to the fact that he's got that gap in his teeth. It's just so chillingly weird. And my heart is going, foot-dum, 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 foot-dum.
So you're really legitimately freaked out by
and
the...
I have to imagine, Pony, you'll have to back me up here, my demeanor on the ride over was probably a bit high-strung.
Quite nervous, and then watching you round the building trying to find a way in was quite entertaining.
Yeah, we
Did
had
you
to pull
think at
over
any
with
time
hazards.
that maybe something had gone terribly wrong?
I mean, I was hoping. No, I wasn't really hoping. I was thinking something could have been wrong because I thought they wanted us to check in at 8. We got there a little after 6.
Yes.
And I thought, well, it should still be open. Well, it closed at 5. So she comes in, she says, "Come in." And she says, "Good to see you. The evening is yours. No timetable. I'm your personal assistant for the whole evening. Go and have a great meal. Just one thing, we had a little bit of a plumbing issue, but the plumber's on his way, and it should be okay by the time you finish dinner." And so that was the one thing that I was like
the toilet?
I didn't get specific. Maybe I should have, but it sounded to me.
You were thinking about at this point it's 6 o'clock, and you're wanting to go take the boys out and get your eat on.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
By the way, I tell you, it's you and Rofo at that dinner. They're gonna have to sell a lot of tickets this month. That's for sure. That is absolutely for sure.
Hard Rock is a stone's throw away, although we find a way to make it a 3-block walk because we didn't see it.
The big blocks.
So those
blocks are big.
We get there, and there's probably, would you estimate 350?
There was a huge line of people out front that were all like vaguely European. They were some. It was some sort of foreign birthday party. It was so weird.
Yeah, and
we are going to an American restaurant, Hard Rock Cafe for rock and roll music and burgers.
Look, I want you to seat me near Pants of Sly Stone. He sings many great rock and roll records.
All right, well, we have to take a break. So it's going to be the dinner, and then only so many drinks before you have to pull the straight. Was there when she said no timetable? Could you arrive at the museum whenever you wanted to after dinner?
Anytime after 8 p.m. and we had the run of the museum till 8 a.m.
Okay.
The whole thing is so, pardon me, Pony, the whole thing is so massively fucked up in my head
surreal.
right now. It is.
Get it? It's surreal. All right, take a break. We'll come back with more of a night at the museum with Robb Spiewak. And by the way, Dahlia is only here on Mondays, correct?
Right. Yeah, but we can catch her next Monday as well. We're good.
All right. We hi Dahlia.
Nice to see you.
Good day. We'll take a break and come back with more fun on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Hello,
there
this
he
is
is.
internet sensation Toddy Abedje. Do you stare at your computer all day? Well, at least it's better than staring at Santana Moss. Face it, you're addicted. So, if you're staring at your computer anyway, you might as well be staring at the Mike O'Mara Show YouTube page. Just go to youtube.com/Mike O'Mara Show and click the bell to subscribe to our page. Now, you can see Mike make fun of Robb's big head or laugh at Oscar while he gets his head shaved. So hit up the TMOS YouTube page and watch all of the episodes that your computer-loving mind desires. Or just throw your computer out the window. Because if you're not watching us on YouTube, you're not using your computer for the right things anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Toddy, and for some reason, I don't know why I want to say this before I share the news of Joybird with you, but I just want to say I'm just thrilled that those hostages in Uganda were rescued.
It's always nice when good things happen to good people, Mike.
I don't know why Toddy made me think of that.
Me neither.
Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Joybird, the online furniture shopping company that lets you create the space and furniture that bring you joy. With Joybird, you get one-of-a-kind furniture made to your unique taste. Turn your ideas into reality with hundreds of styles, colors, fabrics, and options. They have a wide range of kid and pet-friendly upholstery options, plus free personal design consultants to achieve your perfect design. Each Joybird piece is made by hand with care and precision, using high-quality hardwood and responsibly sourced materials to fit your exact specs. And every piece comes with a limited lifetime warranty. Try the 365-day home trial. Sit on it, sleep on it, break it in. If you don't love your Joybird, return it for a full refund. Plus, hassle-free in-home delivery. They'll even remove all the packing materials. See how Joybird is revolutionizing online furniture shopping. Create the furniture that brings you joy at joybird.com/TMOS. Go to joybird.com/TMOS and receive an exclusive offer for 25% off your first order by using the code TMOS. Welcome back to the show. We are talking about Night at the Museum with Robb Spiewak, Rob Ford, intern Johnny, and Ponyboy Matt Bloom, spending an entire night at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. But before you were going to do that, I had no idea that the dinner was on them. Dinner and drinks?
Dinner and drinks. And I was ready to, shell out some cash, but I didn't have. We tipped, of course, and they actually said no need, and we forced it on our lovely waitress, and we had a great meal. So we waited through the 400 vaguely European teenagers, and they are all...
So did you have to wait in the line where they were there?
No, because I had the Wax Museum card. I went right to the front, and they sent me to my table right away.
What did everybody have to drink?
Pony gin and tonic.
Yeah, 2 gin and tonics. One was really, really big.
Yeah, there was a tall guy. I had in excess of 5 tall beers, Stellas.
You had 5 tall Stellas. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You had to medicate
6.
yourself.
Yeah.
You had 6. You had a 6-pack of. How many ounces in each beer?
Just
roughly
20.
Oh my God!
Well, here's the thing: is that
Pony, was he lit by the time you left?
We all were.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Good.
Yes.
And we have some evidence of it. Actually, do you want to hear a brief piece of tape?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it.
I have to bring it up because we were sort of scrambling to get stuff together today. But I will say this: is once we got there. And we got our meal, and the waitress was great. She kept saying, "Would you like one more beer?" And I'm saying yes every time because here's the deal. Once we finish that last beer, we've got to go and be in the attraction with all the wax people. And so he said, "Would you like dessert?" Yes, I want to see a dessert menu. Bring it. And
what did you have for dessert?
We split. I mean, barely anything. It was a time killer. We split 4 ways an apple cobbler, a serving of apple cobbler. I had 2 bites, but it was the delay.
Did he have 2 bites, Pony?
I would say 2 times 5. It was amazing. It was such a good cobbler.
I was speaking in round terms. So, Pony, would you say the best example is the one that's called Flask or Pony Presidents?
Presidents would be the drunkest.
Okay, this is
great.
Probably about 1 in the morning, and in the hall. I'll tell you who we slept with, the celebrities. But know this: there's like a sort of grand hall where some of the big key hot Hollywood movers and shakers are, and there's 2 beds, and we're each seated on the beds, surrounded by Aretha Franklin and J-Lo.
Is it young Aretha Franklin? Or is it large,
it's young Aretha
God
Franklin.
rest her soul.
Like RESPECT, Aretha Franklin. And here's Pony talking about the U.S. presidents. The presidents. Give me 1 second. Here we go.
You know what's great? This show began with an interview with a very respected author, James Patterson.
Did you see the look on Barack Obama's face?
All right, stop it right there. My God.
Stuck in the...
You guys are S-house.
Hammer timed.
Oh, my
You
God.
drink 120 ounces of Stella.
Oh, maybe
Pony's
I should
half
have.
gin at that time.
Yeah, he is. And Pony did bring a flask. I did not bring a flask.
Maybe I should have had one before the show today. Go ahead. Hit the
room with President Trump. He was not happy at all. I don't like President Trump very much. But I like President Obama.
Well, they had a statue. They've had figures of every president. Any other presidents you want to offer opinions on?
Taft was great. George Washington. I mean, in the boat, they really captured the moment.
Now, what you don't know is that the
That
boat
was so
was not
raw.
made of wax.
Yeah.
Boat was made of wood. And he was crossing the Delaware?
Yes. There was the Delaware, and it was cold as balls out. And
Pony's bombed.
Trying to get to the other side.
This is Pony every night, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
great.
So
knowing that he'll have to come in and deal with
Miley,
his
when we
supervisor.
wake up, you'll have to leave my armpit.
That's when we're all sort of waiting, because there was another thing is that we brought the GoPro video cameras.
Yes.
That were not charged, and Johnny did not take responsibility nor credit.
Oh my God.
Johnny said, "I believe they were charged when we left." And I said,
where's the big guy? Where's Robert Ford?
Rob Ford was just, I just saw him.
But where is he in this equation?
Where is he in these recordings? You have him on tape?
There's a little bit of him, but you know what? I think Pony is the star.
Did you edit
here.
him out? Did you edit him out?
No, I actually handed the raw tape to Pony, so I don't know
was
where
Rob part of the, or did you like big time him out of it?
No, Rob was actually great, and Rob was very instrumental in the video production.
Yeah?
When he say, "We need that again. The lighting is wrong."
Oh, good for him.
Pony, I don't want any tapes of Rob.
He was a force upon us.
So
you had 6 20-ounce beers.
Yeah, and
that's
so
a lot of beer. That's wow. How are you feeling?
Today, fine. I'm tired because I did. This may shock you. I didn't have the best night's sleep.
Did you bring your CPAP machine? Oh,
no, I don't use it anymore. Fuck that.
You don't use it like I do. You're not addicted to it. You're not addicted to it like I am.
So we get back there, and I text the lady. And by the way, a special shout out to her. Her name is Arlene, and she was at our right hand the entire time.
Is Arlene a young woman, an old woman, a middle-aged woman?
I would say I would put her.
They're all young,
older than 20. I mean, she's been with the museum for 10
Under
years.
Under 30?
I would say early 30s, because she's been with the museum for 10 years.
Oh.
And she was
celebrity she most resembles. I know that's hit the alarm. I'm sorry.
No.
This is me too. I'm doing a bit. I can't help myself. I'm doing an 80s bit right now.
She is African American. She had really cool hair. I'm not thinking of a celebrity offhand, Pony. Do you think of anyone she looks like?
I can't, but she was very nice, very
lovely,
pretty,
very pretty,
wonderful.
And so she meets us and walks us down. And what's funny is she starts out with doing the pat.
Once you do wax, you never go back.
She starts with the prepared museum patter that you know has been sent to 8 million school kids.
Yeah.
Like, we're passing by a Secret Service agent, and his lies will light up if you're not appropriate for this museum. And you know, that's it. And then we go down, and the first thing you see is a statue, actually, of Madame Tussauds, sculpting Ben Franklin. And then you go into where you walk through every president, starting with George Washington and all the founding fathers. Ben Franklin is there, and they've got other historical people. But really, from Washington to Trump, you walk through every president. And oddly...
How did Trump look?
Great. Wonderful. He was the best.
Strong, successful. Was he the best wax figure in the museum?
No, far from it. The two that really I came away with being really impressed with, oddly, Lyndon Johnson.
Really?
Yes, and Rihanna.
Oh.
And Taylor Swift was amazing.
You're funny.
Ovechkin was.
Ovechkin too.
Look he gets on his face when he says Rihanna and Rihanna.
And Taylor Swift.
Well, you know, it's funny. We this is about the time we met the guy that is the wax sculptor for the DC branch, and he didn't want his name said, so his name is Ames J. And so Ames J. I said.
Now, when you say is there one person that?
Well, yeah,
does it?
the figures come.
I didn't know they had. I thought they bring him in on a. Bus or
they
something.
ship them in.
Make them in China and ship them over.
They do the measurements and preliminaries in DC for the DC celebrities. Then the figures are actually constructed in London on Baker Street at the original, brought back. But he's responsible for maintaining, dressing. It was so neat when we were walking around the museum with him.
Does he sound like Vincent Price?
No, he doesn't. He's a young.
I'd like to bring you in the back room and show you where I sculpt these figures. All right, I have 1,001 questions.
so
and I know
need a
you've got
break?
more tape, and I know you. Am I right on
Yes.
the break
Oh,
here?
yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
This is right. Am I right?
Right.
When we come back, because well, I just somehow you're telling all these stories. You're playing your clips, and I'm in my own mind. I'm hearing anatomy. I'm just curious, if they're really, really lifelike,
I'll tell
and
you.
whether anybody in your group of 4 decided to look. That's all. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more fun and more thrills. Were you supervised the entire time you were there? Like, were there eyes on you the whole time you were there?
Glass eyes.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a break. Come back with more fun on the Mike O'Mara Show, everybody.
Hoppity, Easter's on the way. Now I know we don't
Oh,
have
Paulie.
time to go shopping Or you do,
Nachos.
and while you're online to pay, some old people push past you to get a soda by the register. But have no fear. Spring into savings by going to MikeO'MaraShow.com. Click on the TMOS Shopping Center banner where you can buy your Easter bonnets at Macy's.com or candy and decorations at Target.com and Walmart.com. So hop down the bunny trail for your shopping needs today. Now let's head back to the Grand Marshal of our Easter Parade, Mike O'Mara.
Yep, that's me, the Easter Bunny. Hi, everybody.
Hoppity hop.
Did you see the pictures of Paulie going to the deli in the Bronx over the weekend?
No.
Oh, my God. The man knows how to eat.
I bet.
The man knows how to eat. Anyway, welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Hims. 2/3 of men lose their hair by age 35, and by the time you notice, it's too late. Hey, pal, you better act fast. It's time to get a handle on those precious locks. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. 4hims.com connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. Real prescriptions backed by science, no nonsense. Just answer a few questions, the doctor reviews it, and the products are shipped directly to your door. It's that easy. I hate doctor's offices, so I love 4hims.com. Order now. TMOS listeners can get started with the Hims Complete Hair Kit for only $5 today while supplies last, and subject to doctor's approval. Restrictions apply. See the website for full details. This could cost you hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/TMOS. That's FORHIMS.com/TMOS. Look your best. 4hims.com/TMOS. You're going to love it. I promise you that. And if you hate doctor's offices, 4hims.com is where you want to go. Let's get back to the Wax Museum. I'll get the anatomy question out of the way. So when you said glass eyes, you were doing shtick, but I guess the point is...
We were attended to for probably the
supervised?
first hour and a half when we walked the entire attraction. And
okay,
then,
but you're getting a tour, but then you're left to your own devices?
I think, and Pony, I think as we begin, I began to sober up.
Sure, they have cameras in there.
I think that what happened is we made a very good impression on both of them.
They loved us.
They loved the fact that we had a sense of humor, and while we seemed to be asking valid questions, we're having a good time with it.
The pictures are fantastic.
And what is so wild is really about a third of the way through the presidents, and it's not just the beer at this point, I really do find myself calming down. Because as you're allowed to get literally within an inch of them, and you're seeing the fact that they have painted on like stubble, and I mean the detail is every wrinkle and every hand.
No souls.
But no souls. But as I begin to appreciate how accurate and really how cool this was, I began to calm down. So I wasn't heart pounding.
Have you ever been in the museum before?
I'd never been in a Madame Tussauds, no, and I hadn't.
You'd never been in a wax museum?
No, I went to that one when I was 8 or 9 years old that flipped me out. Those 40 years ago, and so this is a long time coming. I was at a point mentally because when we used to go to New York for WNEW days, we would walk by the museum. It was right off Broadway, and they would oftentimes have a figure like standing in the window. Mm-hmm. I'd go on the other side of the street. I had no want to see it whatsoever.
That is a true phobia. Phobia.
But now I'm okay with it. And so by the time we get, through this and
you conquered your fear, a la Gordon Liddy tying himself to a tree in a thunderstorm.
I tied myself to a figure of Melania Trump and I was all better.
Oh, was Melania in the museum as well?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
How did she look?
Tall?
No,
she's tall?
Very tall. Taller than me, but
let me put
heels.
it this way, because I want to be respectful to the good people at Madame Tussauds, because I don't want to be, shock jock when it comes to that. So I'll ask this respectfully. If one was inclined to peek,
yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if one was
I got it, Mike.
Okay.
I got it.
If one was inclined to peek, two questions. Which dummy or which wax figure would you peek at? Would you want to peek at? And which one do you think would be the most easy to peek at?
The easiest peek.
If you dropped your wallet.
The easiest peek, Pony will back me up on this. The easiest peek is probly Miley Cyrus.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, because she's.
All right, that was really eager on both your ends.
Well, no, because she's dressed so trashy.
That's just so.
And as far as
Miley,
we know, Mike. We know.
What is Miley wearing? God, this is weird. Now I feel unclean.
Fuzzy hot pants.
Yeah, it was like fur underwear.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
And a small top. Now,
Okay.
for the other question, I would say a coin flip for me between Rihanna and Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Because
All right,
the Taylor Swift, and I thought the thing about Taylor, and I sent you a picture of myself with Taylor.
You were dancing with her.
I think the thing that was most chilling about her that was different is that, and that was the other thing, I asked the sculptor guy, I said, you always refer to them as him and her and never it? He says, well, yeah, unless I call them by their name. And I said, okay, that's
I just have a
little weird.
Bambino, a picture of Babe Ruth, who looks like Jon Favreau, by the way.
No, I sent you.
You're on a group. That's on a group text.
It's on a group
it's the
text.
group one?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there. Rofo with Justin Bieber is pretty good. Rofo with
Justin Bieber looks androgynous.
Yeah. Oh, and Maddie, you'll love this. Let me finish with Taylor Swift.
Please.
I asked about it because she showed a lot of leg, and a lot of times, all the figures are clothed in long dresses. They actually cast her legs.
Is that
in
your
plaster.
foot?
Yes.
Is that your foot in your jammies?
That's my view of my bedroom. I want
So you got Michael Jackson. Who's the guy sitting down?
That's Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, and who's the person with their back to you?
Denzel.
Uh-huh.
Well,
No,
Denzel
that's
is
not Denzel.
on the left is Brad Pitt.
Who's the one on the? Who's the one with the red top?
Hold on. Let me zoom in.
These are great.
That's Taylor Swift.
Well, wait. I thought Taylor Swift. Who's in the back corner? Oh, that's Miley. Okay, that's Miley's in the corner, and Taylor Swift. Oh, good choice, Rob.
Thank
okay,
you.
I understand the whole Taylor Swift thing.
And so
That's wonderful.
there was.
You guys.
I would've had a good.
That's the main hall, and you can see my feet, perspective like a beach shot.
Yes.
I wanted you to see the ocean, but it's an ocean.
Is she really
of
as
celebrities.
tall as you are, Rob?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Is she that tall in real life?
Yep. Mm-hmm. All accurate by height and stuff like that. So
You're so loaded.
Yeah.
All your pictures, all Rob's pictures are like.
Wait till you see the video.
Wow.
This is the point.
I see
when
you got a new VCU T-shirt over the weekend.
I did. Julia is deposited and committed. My good girl.
Very good.
So, at this point, Ames J, the wax technician, the head artist
Rob
at the
Ford.
place, he says, "I'd like for you all to put your phones down and your recorder
away?
and come with me." I said, "They're turned off." He says, "Put them down
Oh yeah, with authority.
and come with me." And back behind Zac Efron is a sort of a disguised door, and he opens it, and we get to go back into his workshop.
Ooh.
And this was
Thank you for coming into my workshop. I hope you're enjoying. This is where I put the.
Was it weird seeing Michael Jackson after all the crap that's been out there?
Well, yeah, and there's
Did he look stressed?
There's a second Michael Jackson in the back room that is also looking stressed. They have 3 Michael Jackson figures on
what
property.
if he's in the back room because he's been removed from the exhibit?
This could be. So we go back into his workshop, and the first thing he does is he has a chloroform scented cloth that he clasps over my nose. Not really. We go in and we see his office, and on the table is like 2 or 3 wigs on, just plain styrofoam heads, and next to them is the most realistic Hillary Clinton head you've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
Just her head. Then Colin Powell, his head, just sitting there, and then Justin Bieber 2 haircuts ago there because they had to update the haircut on Bieber, and then standing right next to me, I say, "Oh, Whoopi Goldberg. She's right behind me." And I said,
Her
"Why?"
head?
No, the whole body.
The body.
And
Is
I said,
she naked or does she have clothes
No,
on?
she's fully clothed. And I said, "Why is Whoopi back
Yes,
here?"
I am. I'm sorry. I'm fascinated. They have like nipples and pubic hair. I'm sorry. I'm just curious.
We're not the only one.
My
I
guess,
really
my guess on
like.
pubic hair is no, because there was an unused body in the workshop, and the
Okay.
bodies themselves are not hyper realistic, like
Also,
the hands,
added
arms, and
cost,
his.
I
like
imagine.
Barbie
Do they
doll.
have,
Yeah.
do they have balls?
Only Bieber.
Only Bieber. No, I did not see any balls. I did not see any balls.
I
Although
won't ask any more stupid childlike
I
questions
did
anymore.
tell Arlene when we were leaving today, her favorite figure is also Lyndon Johnson. And I mentioned that we have a tape of him ordering pants. And she said, "I'd love to hear it." I said, I'll send it right along to you. He required a little extra room, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
she
he
said,
talked to the president of Hager Pants.
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, really? I'll pass that along to the sculptors."
So was it really fascinating when you were behind the scenes?
I mean,
It sounded like it was fun.
there were rows and rows and shelves of hands and feet and
Yeah, there's
faces.
like a bucket of legs.
And he says, "Here, this is a silicon. This is a silicon."
Where's Rob
face.
Ford? Do we have any tape of Rob Ford?
Is Rob
Did you
Ford
pull any-
inconsequential to this
Rob
trip?
Ford was mostly video.
Yeah, he was a big video. You'll see him in the
So
video
he was
stuff.
more behind the scenes.
He was behind the scenes.
When you went to sleep,
Yes.
When you went,
which
when you
was
went to bed,
brief at best. The sleeping was not great.
How close was your bed to Pony's bed?
40 feet, 50
yeah, you
feet.
were a good ways away. Johnny
everybody had their own. Did everybody have their own private area of the museum?
I was in the Asian area. I slept between, laugh if you will, but it was. I was between Jackie Chan and a Chinese actress named Karina Lau and an Asian soccer player. And my bed was there, and I chose the Asian area not just because of.
Did you send your dad pictures of any of the Asian wax figures?
I will.
I knew it.
But they had a big, they had like Chinese parasols that lit up and sparkled everywhere, and a big dragon.
Sounds beautiful.
But the reason I chose it was the furthest away from them.
Got it.
Rob Ford was quick to choose the bed by J-Lo, which was on the other end of the hall.
Nice.
And he had
That's
some
where I wanna
privacy.
sleep.
A lot of wax in that one.
Yeah, extra wax. And so then the one.
What does that mean?
A big ass joke.
The caboose.
Oh, the butt.
Yeah.
Okay, her butt.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and you know what? Also, an honorable mention to the Beyonce figure.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. All
Very,
right, so
very well
strong.
done. But and then the two beds that were dead center, almost like at a college dorm room. It was Pony, then about 2 feet, then Johnny.
Nice.
And so
And
they
everybody, were you able to fall asleep?
I know I slept a little bit because I had a dream about one of the figures.
Which one?
There's one non-celebrity figure that faces the Larry King wax figure that looks like it's someone taking a picture.
Yeah.
And it's so hyper-realistic because it just looks like someone being real still. I found myself walking around her and saying, "Excuse me." That's the weirdest thing. And again, I leave the place. It wasn't creepy. It was really cool. But the thing that is so unusual about it is by the time it's 7 o'clock in the morning and we're getting up to brush our teeth and stuff, we're walking through. I was like, "Oh, there's Babe Ruth, there's Tiger Woods, hey, how you going? There's Jimmy Fallon." And it's like, it's not even a thing anymore.
Where did you eat your breakfast?
There was like a lobby reception area where they set up a
table.
table.
Among the figures. They don't let you bring food in there.
I don't think they'd like that. No, actually, they did. They provided snacks for us among the figures.
Yeah, they did. And drinks.
How about
Right next to Denzel, you could get yourself a Gatorade.
the fingers?
The fingers were perfect, and I looked close. I mean, down
Did you
to
touch the fingers? Were you allowed to touch the figures?
They said that is policy to not touch, but as long as we were careful, they let us do it. And I did. There's a few.
What do
poses.
they feel like? Hard plastic, right?
No, we actually were given a literal wax hand in the workshop that we could hold for weight. And he says, and if you're not too destructive, dig your fingernail in. You can feel what it's like. And it's a mixture of beeswax and what he called Chinese wax. So it is a hardened polymer.
Chinese wax.
But I do want to show you this. This is one of the aftermarket activities we did.
Oh, okay.
Johnny was all about this. And I said, I don't think they're going to let us do this, Johnny. And he right away, he said, do we get to dip our hands? And so they have a big vat of wax and a big vat of ice water. And this is a wax version of my hand.
That is cool.
So I'll let Oscar hold it and describe it.
Look at the size of that meat hook.
First off, Marvel called and Thanos wants his fist back. How do you walk around with this big mitt?
Well, keep in mind, that's 4 layers of wax over my hand. So it's not an actual...
I'm sure. Where are the Infinity Stones? Tell everybody.
Look at that.
But we all got to dip our hands in wax, and it was funny because this is like a job to make the Rubes dip their hand in wax. I'm sure they give it to the interns at the museum, and so beautiful. We had the general manager and the head wax sculptor doing this, and I said to Rob Ford, I said, "You realize this is like hiring Picasso to paint your car? That he's having to dip my hand in ice water and wax, and ice water and wax, and ice water and wax."
Here, see you, Mike.
Yeah,
Oscar's drinking the coffee. Thanks. I know I deserve a toast today. That's awesome.
Feels creepy on the inside because it's still wet.
And they also gave me a trophy that says Rob. Huh? That's nice, right?
That's exciting. We need shelving.
Yeah, hold on. I got Believe in Your Selfie sippy cup.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's so
many
exciting.
wonderful prizes. And I know Oscar will want to open these.
Madame Tussauds, by the way. Let's if you're in D.C., check out Madame Tussauds. You'll be able to see all the wonderful figures, all the presidents. That's the big part
that
of
is
the
and
DC
they're
location.
chillingly
commemorative photos with Donald J. Trump.
That's wonderful.
And then
That's
me at the presidential lectern is another one.
This is the
Very special.
America has chosen Rob. I'll send you a picture of these.
Look at that. That's so
You know
exciting.
what? I did not know they offered all of this. I
No,
know
how
this is
about,
a
how about all the people? A
Pretty
round of
blown away.
applause for
Blown
Madame
away.
Tussauds Wax
And
Museum.
also
How wonderful.
Booking.com, who they partnered with on this.
Booking.com. Make your arrangements so you can spend a night in the way. When does this promotion end?
It is.
as
This
far as
flight is over for now. There was
Okay,
only
this
7
flight is
properties,
over.
but we will keep an eye out if they're going to do it again. And also, they were kind enough, and I have to thank, I'll say your name, James, and I want to thank Arlene. As we're leaving today, after they fed us and gave us this wonderful night, they gave us 4 additional tickets because they're introducing VR at the end of the summer, where you wear glasses and you can actually interact with the figures.
Ooh,
And
hey, you
this
got to
is-
go back for that.
This is a first time for any of the Madame Tussauds attractions. It's only going to be in D.C. So if
Cool.
you want to be a part of that, check their website and check it
Nice.
out. So yeah, I'd have to say, Mike, broken fingers, missing fingers, and shitty wax museums in New Jersey, that's all behind me. I'm
Now you're
okay.
done.
You're back.
conquered
You
your
had
fear.
me face my fear.
You conquered your fear.
Thank you, Mike. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Yeah,
That's
it was fun.
wonderful. And if anybody was keeping count, no Rofo during this segment at all.
Who?
We'll take a break
He's
and
being
we'll
iced
come back
out.
with news you made.
Hey.
And tell Bitch Turn, you know,
And you mean it with
Dahlia
all
that we gotta-
possible respect.
We've got to get her next time on the show.
we shall.
We'll take a break. Come back with news you may not need right here on the Mike O'Mara Show.
They've been there through the sad times. They've been there through the happy times.
No,
The quick one.
this is
They're
my
always
wax
there for
museum.
you, but are you there for them?
Are you there
Damn
for
it,
them?
Mike. Buy a bonus show.
He blew himself.
Blew himself up.
Thank you very much. Okay. Welcome back to the Mike O'Mara Show, brought to you by Stamps.com. Here's a fact of life. No one has time to go to the post office. The traffic, the parking, the lines, lugging your packages. It's a hassle, man, which is exactly why you need Stamps.com. It eliminates trips to the post office, and it saves you money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office. Stamps.com brings you all the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your computer. They can handle it all. All you have to do is simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it, then hand it to your mail carrier or drop it in a mailbox. It's that simple. With Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first-class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail. It's no wonder over 700,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. Right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in TMOS. That's Stamps.com, and enter that wonderful code TMOS.
News.
Wax. Boo.
Taylor Swift.
Wax.
Wax.
I see what you mean about Taylor Swift. I totally get it.
And
understand
the
that.
one
I gotta
thing,
stop doing that.
the one thing that was weird, every figure was really hyper realistic
Yes.
and fascinating to look at, but every once in a while you stood in the exact right place and they would lock eyes with you and it stops you in your tracks. You really think
that might be you. That might
maybe.
be you.
Although I did say, I asked the sculptor, I said, "You ever see him move?" He said, "Yep, all the time." I said, "Okay, goodbye."
Good night. Have a nice night. Have a nice sleep. Tonight's NCAA National Championship game will feature the Virginia Cavaliers.
Yay, Virginia!
Great sports week. What a sports week this is.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking on Texas Tech, the Red Raiders. Texas Tech, a 3-seed, got by showing off their defensive prowess, defeating 2-seed Michigan State. A lot of bummed out people down here. I was getting now again. We'll have to go back to next year.
Are they playing on Monday?
On Saturday, Virginia, number 1 seed, looking good for them right now, slipped past the 5-seed Auburn to land the other spot in the finals. That game was controversial, though, because the refs failed to catch a double dribble in the final seconds. That's not what those referees are supposed to do.
What a jerk.
By the way, I play golf with a former referee. Actually, he's a current high school referee. I'm going to have to ask him about that. By the way, Virginia guard Kyle Guy. Hi, Guy.
Hi, Guy.
He was forced to take down his wedding registry because of the NCAA's strict regulations regarding the gifts and benefits that college athletes can receive. His fiancée tweeted, quote, "Hope you weren't planning on buying anything because NCAA compliance says it was a violation." Aren't they a little young to be getting married in the first place?
Maybe they
Really,
have
when
to.
you think about it. So I had to make it to where I can only see it. Kind of defeats the purpose of a registry.
I went out and
she's-
played my heart out because I got service for 8 in a beautiful flatware pattern.
You think Kyle Guy's fiance has already counted the dollars?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just-
God, yeah.
Maybe she
Kinda
should
sounds like that.
focus on the long ball, long game.
The registry might have gone unnoticed, but a blog shared it in an effort to keep to help Kyle out. It backfired.
Good
So
luck
that's
at the
why
game, Kyle. We still don't have a blender.
Hello, Kyle. Another WrestleMania weekend. God, 7.5 hours. I saw a lot of our listeners posting pictures of, before in anticipation of a 7.5 hour WrestleMania.
That's about right.
Did you guys ever go to WrestleMania when you were? Did you get shipped out?
I went to a wrestling match, but I never went to WrestleMania.
So when
I think WrestleMania was a bigger buy for your show than ours.
So when we went to Houston WrestleMania,
yes,
I remember, and this is the first and only WrestleMania we ever went to. Well, at least I did. The guys went after the fact.
Wow.
I looked at it and I said, "Are all of these 5 hours back then?"
Yeah.
Because you don't hit the TV because you got house shows, and then you hit the TV, right?
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour pre-show plus 5.5 hour main card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extraordinarily expensive, yes?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. Being inside that stadium and being low down so you could actually see what was happening was cool. That was cool.
The real news happened on Saturday night, the night before WrestleMania, as they always do. Their Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This year, the classic tag team, the Hart Foundation, was one of the inductees. Well, Bret Hart was giving his speech along with the daughter of his late partner, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, when some idiot jumped into the ring and tackled him.
Oh,
the audience was full of wrestlers. So the moron was quickly at the bottom of a pile and eating legit strikes.
Mike, the audience was full of wrestlers.
He was taken away and the ceremony continued. So that's
first time also, that event was the first time where I sat there and Chad and Drab were all tweeting out, and I was tweeting as well because I was actually participating then. And I said, you know what? No one's watching the match. We're all just tweeting.
Tweeting, yeah.
I guess it's combat for the whole 5 hours, so it holds your interest,
That was
right?
2009 or 2008. That's 10 years ago. I remember sitting there. I was like, we're not watching these matches.
And you were tweeting from a desktop.
We're tweeting. Now, I think we had sidekicks still at that
Okay,
point.
very good. Okay.
Terrible.
And somehow it's always about food. I'm thinking, that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anyway.
Get some of them
isn't it?
WrestleMania fries.
What time does it start? Or what time did WrestleMania start? Didn't
what
it start
time
like
does it
5
start?
o'clock?
What time does it
5,
start?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
It starts
11?
early afternoon.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Like, well, to be fair, I think we got there by 4:30. So it started at 5.
When Robert was way into wrestling, it was the day. It was the entire day, yeah.
It's incredible. Shazam easily topped the weekend box office with $53.5 million. If you include early preview screenings, it's now up to $56.8 million. Tomorrow, I'll tell you all about Dumbo.
I'm so sorry that Jim Nabors is not around to see this movie.
Shazam! The Pet Sematary remake debuted in second with $25 million. That's the second highest opening weekend for a Stephen King adaptation, behind the $123 million opening for It. I don't think it's going to get there. It does look scary, though.
Yeah. It's a good story.
Good marketing behind it. 82% of Americans agree that social media is a huge time waster.
Yeah, Maddie.
57% think it does more to divide us than unite us, and 55% of people think it spreads more lies than truth. But 69% of us still check it at least once a day.
Well, more than that, I would say.
You lived on it this weekend. You were down at VCU.
Yeah.
Were you bored this weekend because you were shut out of the regular stuff she had to go through? Right?
No, actually, this was a really cool trip for me because she had a couple 1-hour sessions that I was not invited to. Tried to do one of the parent things, and there was just too many parents that are. Here's the idea of the parent down there. They had a panel that was a cop, a teacher, a student, a parent, and one other person in the media for the school. The first question that the lady asked from the audience was, she pointed to the policeman and said, "What are you going to do to make sure my student stays safe?"
Oh,
and I said, "We're done here. I'm not going to do 2 hours of this." So I went around and I had the wristband and I took the tours and I walked where I used to go to school and saw things that I hadn't seen in 30 years. It was really cool. And then Julia and I, the best thing is we ended up in a record store and spent an hour and a half there. It was one of the greatest dad-daughter moments we've had in years. It was just
You're going to need a nappy poo today. And now a little something. A 34-year-old guy named Casey Lewis was bonded out of jail in Fort Pierce, Florida, last Thursday after he was busted for shoplifting at Walmart. Then he got arrested again 15 minutes later for breaking into a car in the jail's parking lot.
In the jail's parking lot.
Hello. He walked around pulling on door handles, looking for cars that were unlocked. He finally found one, stole $547 in cash from a woman's car, along with her iPhone, debit card, license, and 4 packs of cigarettes.
I like people that plan ahead, yeah.
Cops happened to see him tugging on door handles and confronted him. Then they brought him back inside the jail and booked him for burglary, grand theft, and possession of stolen property. If the story sounds familiar, it's because another guy in Florida did the same thing at a jail near Tampa back in November. And last month, he made the Miami Herald's list of the top 10 Florida man stories of all time. Yes, there now is a Florida Man Hall of Fame.
Hey,
Thank you
great.
very much. Yes, that's it. Thank you. We do have to take a break. Are we on time? Because I lost my...
We're perfect. We're perfect.
We'll take a break and we'll come back with the... Did you have time to do an audio vault while you were in the Wax Museum?
Mike, I went around and I recorded funny bon mots from all the figures.
That's very, very exciting. Remember, stand a certain way and they make eye contact with you.
That's right. And they steal your soul.
Did anybody touch anything?
Johnny was a little handsy.
Attaboy. Somebody would not let us down. We'll take a break, come back with Robb Spiewak's Audio Vault right here on the Mike O'Mara Show.
Hi, this is Tom Rogal. I like to get my news anywhere I can.
All right, so bye, Tom. Thank you very much. What was he talking about? Get the bonus show?
No, get on Spotify. You got to find them.
Spotify.
TMOS on Spotify is the way to do
it. Also, we're going to let everybody know that on Alexa and with your Google, you can say, hey, Google, play the Mike O'Mara Show, or Alexa, play the Mike O'Mara Show, and it's right there. No delay. You don't have to go through any layers. It's right there for you.
The most current show.
So enjoy that, ladies and gentlemen. That is very timely and topical. Without further ado, let's open up the Audio Vault. There it is. And Robb Spiewak, a very tired, very frightened man who is back at work today. Go
Mike,
ahead, Rob.
You and I have a certain, I think, shared respect for auctioneers. And some of the best auctioneers are livestock auctioneers because once a year when people bring their beef to market, this is their make or break. When they do the livestock auction, they will sometimes do an auctioneer championship. And once you win it, you're not allowed to compete anymore. You're a champion for the rest of your life. I found this short documentary that helps explain that chant they do, that sort of patter when they're doing the auction. I think you're going to like this. These guys, they break it down for you, and they say the idea of the chant is not only to sell the beef, but to make it exciting.
During the chant, the auctioneer is basically calling out the bid that he's asking for.
And now $7 8 to the board down 9 to the board down 149 to the board down 50. It starts with numbers. It starts with clarity. Then you can add in your what they call filler words. Some of the basic filler words that an auctioneer would use is now, bid, dollar bidder now.
154, 5. Will you give me here to buy, get them on?
Dollar bidder now, here down, get along, here now.
Say now, go, dollar bid. I actually started saying here, there, and where in mine. 1.5 here now, 72. There now, 2.5 here now, 73. No.
My basics chant starts with my number scale. And as I became more advanced, I started to interject those filler words. Bid 20, bid 20, bid 20, dollar bidder, now 30, now 30, dollar money. Now as you become more advanced, it'll sound something like this. And now $87 bid to $7 board now, $8 8 to the board now, $89 90, 90 to go down, 90 to bid now, 90 to buy to the board down, $90 $1 to the board down, $1 $1 to the board down, 91 to the board now 1, and we'll something like that.
So cool.
That's the guy that went on to win, that last one we heard.
That is cool to hear that. I love that stuff.
And the thing is that there's a touch of sadness because there's this one guy that's been up for it for like 15 times, and he does bad at the question and answer period of being an auctioneer.
Oh, no.
He's a great auctioneer, but he just can't do that. All right. I loved when he slowed it down. $10 bid, $20. So Matthew McConaughey has a movie coming out called The Beach Bum. He is co-starring with Snoop Dogg, and there is a pot smoking scene in it, and he tells a funny story about Snoop. He's a trickster. He's a merry prankster, this Snoop Dogg.
I did get Snooped on our first scene together. It was a scene where I go to him, and my character Moondog's going to get turned on to the magic weed, which he has. And so I have my property weed, which is oregano. That was a good idea. because the scene goes on for about 7 minutes. We're passing this joint back and forth, and I'm starting to feel a little bit. Okay. And all of a sudden we yelled cut, and he goes, "Yo, Moondog." He goes, "That wasn't prop weed, that's Snoop weed." And I said, "Oh."
Snoop
and I've said this, I don't recall much of the next 11 hours working, but I know I evidently didn't say one word of the dialogue from the script for the rest of the night. I spoke very little English. I made a lot of deep mammalian sounds and rapped 4 rap tunes.
So I look forward to that movie. I think that should be a lot of fun.
What are the odds? Like, if
100%.
If you get that high, though, can you work? Only he can.
Yeah, I suppose he said the weed.
The weed. Yeah, that's not a oregano. That's Snoop.
I love this. Is really cool to me.
10
weed, 20 weed, 20
weed.
Okay, so we all know this song. This is the love theme from The Godfather, and it's very haunting and very lovely. Someone took it and put it into a very advanced editing program, might have been Pro Tools, and shifted all the notes that were minor notes into major notes. They bent the pitch, and when he changes it, it sounds like it's like the theme to the Waltons. This is the same song, but it's happy.
Like Western happy.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Like
That's
Little
so
House on
weird.
the Prairie happy.
Now that makes me wonder if I could take like Little House on the Prairie and bend it minor, and it would sound really sad.
You might want to go home and try bending.
I'm going to do some note bending.
Might be very interesting.
Very cool.
And we close with this, Mike, because I know you like Shaquille O'Neal because he's Irish. He was on TNT covering basketball, and he did a shout out. Oh no, one of his cohorts did a shout out to a place in Los Angeles called the 2-Bit Circus, which is called a micro amusement park. I did a little research on it. It's an indoor facility where I have a lot of attractions, and one of the things they do is they give you these huge inflatable balls that you have to match color-wise with like a box or a hole. You got to roll these huge balls around. So they're talking about 2-Bit Circus, and Shaq has the best time with it.
Yeah, shout out to 2-Bit Circus, man. That's a great place downtown LA.
You like that game, BD? On the big ball?
Stop.
Well, we've lost the room. What are we?
Two grown men rubbing big balls.
What do you say we grab a hold of the show? Segue in from the colored balls and everything else that started this segment to the fact that we talk about rising stars. The colored balls. Excuse me. I'm trying.
Hey,
Luka Doncic.
Leave my balls
is a guy who's.
Please.
You know
Shout
what
out
color
to
they
the
were
circus
too?
for the colored balls.
So Luka Doncic.
what color they
Candace,
were,
just
too?
look at me. Forget there. Like usual.
Red
like
and blue.
Like we're in oh jeez. Oh my. Well, we're fired. So, Candace,
get over
Luka
it.
Doncic.
So he says we're fired. Shaq says I'm not.
I'm not.
Anyway,
You
so
might be.
those are Shaquille
Yeah.
O'Neal's balls, and that's your Magic Audio ball. Have a great weekend, Taylor Swift.
Hey, save
Monday.
the bonus package spot that I forgot to read for the
It's a
tomorrow's show.
masterpiece. Tune in.
Please do that. I'll keep it right here. I won't
Nice.
even have to print it. Another one in the can. Thanks for a great job with all you guys at the Wax Museum.
And thank
Hope
you to
had a
everyone there. That was fun.
Wonderful time. Our thanks to Mr. James Patterson. His new book is Miracle at St. Andrews. And a wonderful, wonderful read. If you love golf and you love reading, hey, it's a perfect combination. Another one in the can. Don't forget the yaks are open. We got some yaks for you this week. Wonderful. 888-920-MORE, 888-920-6673. And make sure you drop Rob a line for our Tuesday mailbag.
After midnight tonight.
Well, you might want to catch him early. He's had a very full weekend. You can send it to Rob with 2 B's at MikeO'MaraShow.com. For Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana, Mike O'Mara saying toodaloo, everybody.
Oh, skip the gutter.
Ciao, ciao.
Before you go, please make a mental note. Today's show was made possible by the TMOS bonus packages. You can secure yours right now by going to MikeO'MaraShow.com and clicking on the red bonus banner. Buy it or give it. Either way, you're helping out TMOS, and that's a good thing. Thank you, and go in peace.
Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
I believe in the sweet spot, softcore pornography, opening your presents Christmas morning rather than Christmas Eve, and I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days.
You look like a blueberry.
You ever hang around the gymnasium?